Welcome back! Today we're going to make some scar wax and stage makeup. First you'll need some petroleum jelly or Vaseline. Next you'll need some flour. I'm using gluten-free flour because I'm allergic to wheat. And a container. I have a glass one. Make sure that container has a lid. Then you want a spoon or a stir stick. You want to make sure you're using plastic or metal. And then some liquid foundation. And you're going to start by grabbing 3 scoops of Vaseline. It's about 3 teaspoons. It's a little sticky, so your stick's good to have on hand. Next, you're going to give yourself 2 squirts of liquid foundation color. And then about 3 tablespoons of your flour. You're going to make sure you remove any jewelry. I'm taking my rings off, push up your sleeves, get it all out of your way, and then you're going to mix it all together. This is the part that takes the longest, and it's a little frustrating, at least for me in the very beginning. So I tend to go back between using my stick to get it started and the back of my spoon. You don't want to use anything that is wood to stir this because it'll really stick and get into the crevices of the wood. I find metal tends to be the easiest thing to use. And you're just going to keep stirring that around until that whole mixture clumps together for you. Once you get it all together, if you notice it's really dry, you're going to add more Vaseline. Mine's a little on the sticky side, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour here. And you're just going to go back and forth and keep mixing it. And you'll notice that I'll use my spoon, kind of smashing it down with the back of the spoon, moving it around, grabbing it off there. Once you get pretty far with the mixture, you knead it like a dough with your hands. At least that's how I find it easiest to kind of finish off and make sure it's all together, getting all the little clumps and bits and bobs out. And I will warn you that sometimes it feels really dry, and then once you get to the stage where you're working it back and forth in your hand, and it should feel like modeling clay or almost like Play-Doh, you'll notice that it gets warmer and warmer because the warmth of your hands are really moving that petroleum jelly around. The stick is really great for kind of scraping it off gently and get all those bits and bobs back into your bowl, and then really working it one last time to make sure your makeup is all the way around, to make sure all the flour is all the way around and the Vaseline is all the way around. If you don't have liquid foundation, you can use cream. It's a little harder to get to move, or you can do this mixture without any color and just apply your makeup over it later. I'm going to take a moment to clean up my tools and my hands, just rub them together, and the Vaseline and flour will grip together and roll back into that wax. Again, just working it around, grabbing those extra bit. I did this in a pretty shallow dish, so it was hopefully easier for you to see. The deeper your container, like a nice plastic piece of Tupperware or something, the better it's going to be. And then I will grab a piece that I want to use, and I'm going to roll it around in my hand. I'm looking to see what size I want, and I'm going to make like a little raised wound and then put a gash in the middle of it. So I grabbed a little bit. I'm prepping the back of my hand by putting a little Vaseline on the back. If you're not going to wear the appliance very long, Vaseline will let it grip to your hand or your skin really easily. If you're going to wear it longer, you can use a little bit of spirit gum and put it wherever you're going to attach it to your skin. Let that spirit gum get tacky and then add it. Since I'm just doing this for this demo, I just use the Vaseline and it's going to hold on there pretty well. So I've rolled it into that snake. I put it on the back of my hand and I put a little Vaseline on my fingers to then smooth out those edges. I have noticed that the gluten-free flour that I'm using is a little grainier than when you use regular flour. And then once I get it started to adhere to the skin, I'm going to use the back of my plastic spatula to kind of smooth it down and onto my skin. And I'm doing that so that transition between the appliance and my skin. Want to make a gash or a hole, I'm just going to use a toothpick. Anything that has a little bit of a point on it is great to open it up, and I'm going to carve out the middle of that gash. And then you can go back and either add some additional makeup color, and you can refer to the video for the gash wound, latex prosthetics for some of that coloring, or if it's a really fresh wound, you can just take a little bit of your blood and drop it in the middle. I'm using the Krylon. You can also use some of your homemade blood. And remember, gravity's your friend, so I'm gonna move my hand around so it's gonna move like it naturally would. And if you put too much blood on there, you can take your napkin or paper towel and let it soak up some of that excess. When you're done, put the lid on it, seal it up tight, and you can come back and use it as much as you want. It's pretty nice, right? It looks like my skin tone because I use my own foundation. It moves around on my hand nice, and that's it. Have fun, try it out, let me know what you think.